It is that time of year, ladies and gentlemen, Xbox Game Showcase 2024. This is the ultimate predictions video. I hope you're ready because I think Xbox has a lot loaded in the chamber that they're about to unleash with this summer showcase. I don't mean to create too much hype, but look, Xbox can do a lot wrong, but their summer showcases for the last 2 years, in my opinion, have slapped. In particular, last year, 2023 Game Showcase was one of the best ever showcases I saw because I felt it answered the bell perfectly to what I was looking for as an Xbox fan. Give me Japanese game support. Oh, Matty, we got Persona 3 Reload, day one on Game Pass. Beautiful. Give me looks at upcoming exclusives. Oh, here's a 45-minute Starfield Developer Direct. Perfect. Wait, I want to see what other studios are working on in the future. Here's South of Midnight. Here's Fable. Here's Clockwork Revolution. Thank you. It was, to me, the perfect answer to everything I was looking for from Xbox. And I feel this year, they're set up once more to deliver. There's a lot of questions I feel they need to answer. So let's open up with that. Hardware. Will Xbox remain committed? They've said as much. But also, Sarah Bond has gone on record of promising hardware in the future, as soon as the end of this year. So the question is this: is it an Xbox handheld? Is there going to be any confirmation of next generation Xbox news? My prediction, and I'll start off with a bold one, is I do think we lay eyes on this Xbox handheld. I don't know if it comes out at the end of this year, but I do think Xbox needs to commit to hardware on the biggest stage imaginable, because while they've said as much in interviews, I don't think that's enough. Seeing is believing, and I think for a lot of people who are wavering a bit on what Xbox is doing moving into the future, committing to hardware on this stage would be a phenomenal move. Not only that, but let's say they do announce an Xbox handheld. You have the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Developer Direct right after. Something that could be easily used to push this handheld alongside it. Play Black Ops 6 on the X-Boy handheld, right? Like, it seems like a marketer's wet dream at the end of the day. So I do think Xbox is going to commit to hardware plans. I don't think they're going to talk about next generation details, but I do believe they will finally pull the trigger on the long rumored Xbox handheld. Here's hoping, because I mean, you can't really see, it's a little bit off camera, but I got like 4 different handhelds to my right. I'm obsessed with these things, and Xbox, I would love nothing more than for y'all who do great work with like cloud gaming to have a native handheld. So here's hoping. The other rumor that's been kind of floating around is backwards compatibility. Jez Corden, Special Nick have suggested that Xbox 360 era JRPGs are coming back. I imagine this will likely be Blue Dragon. I've talked a lot about how I hope it's Lost Odyssey, but nonetheless, back compat. Will it come back online? With Activision Blizzard in the mix, there's been a lot of hopes and desire, but will it actually materialize during this showcase? I really hope so. Something that Sarah Bond's talked extensively about is how there's this new game preservation program within Xbox. And I hope this indicates that they'll go back and make older Xbox 360 titles streamable, make them more playable on the hardware, no matter where you're at, whether it's Xbox One, Series X, Series S, future generations. I do hope that's what it means. What it sort of sounded like was that moving forward, games like Series X and S are going to move into the next generation with Xbox, which was the expectation anyway, but it seemed like they were reaffirming it. But I would love to see that back catalog of Activision Blizzard titles, the more random ones that people don't talk about, things like Singularity, the Marvel games, things like Transformers, licensed products. Like, Activision has a treasure trove of games that could be dumped into Game Pass, and I would love to see back compat come back online one last time now that they own these games, work with the license holders, and get this thing going. Hasbro's gone on record as early as last year saying that they were willing to get the Transformers games online. So let's hope that they get the deal done here. I am thinking that back compat, I'm 50-50, but you know what? I'm an optimist at heart, so I'm going to say, let's do it. Back compat comes back in a small way. Okay, that's enough bold predictions for now. Let's do some safe things here. Obvious ones. Obvious things that are going to show up. This is just a bit of a rapid fire segment to get some of the clear stuff out of the way before we get into individual studios and dive deep. So we have games like Indiana Jones. I think we're getting a release date for that, no doubt. We're hearing that it's going to be December. I think it's going to be that. Xbox is slated to have a really stacked holiday season. Avowed. I've gone on record of saying I think Avowed's going to get delayed, but right now the reports are that it's shaping up to look really good compared to what we last saw. And if that is the case, then I will happily backtrack those claims. Right now, I'm going to stick and say Avowed will come out this year. And I think it's going to, as rumored, come out in November. And so we're definitely going to see that at the showcase. Every Xbox game showcase always has some sort of live service segment, so I think this is where you're going to see things like Sea of Thieves once more. I do think Fallout 76 is going to make the rare appearance here with how high Fallout 76 has gone. I don't know if there will be anything else Fallout related ready for an announcement. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So I'm thinking that Fallout 76 gets the look here, and maybe they spotlight upcoming content because, again, with the new map expansion, it looks really good, and maybe they tease more that's on the way. Forza Motorsport DLC feels like it should be a shoo-in, but never really a guarantee. That game's been kind of quiet since its launch in October. There are other obvious ones that were leaked, like Doom: The Dark Ages, unfortunately leaked. This is from id Software, so you're definitely going to see this one at the show, and I personally can't wait because I love Doom Eternal, I love Doom 2016, and to get a little more Doom in a prequel status is very exciting, especially when it's medieval focused, so I'm very pumped for that. There's also games like Towerborn, Our History Untold, Stalker 2, Replaced, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. These are previously announced, previously shown off games partnered with Xbox, and I feel they could find a home here in the showcase. The real question is, what games may flock to Summer Games Fest? What games may stick on the Xbox Showcase board? It's hard to say. I do think games like Replaced will return to the Xbox Showcase, where maybe ones like Towerborn go find a broader audience over on the Summer Games Fest stage. So yeah, those are some obvious ones out of the way. Let's get into more bold predictions here. The Initiative. Now, I have to admit, this one actually really isn't that bold because Jeff Grubb and a number of insiders have suggested that Perfect Dark is starting to shape up a little bit. It doesn't seem like the situation is as bad as it once was. So there is a chance Perfect Dark shows up, and this is where I think leakers kind of spoil the surprise, because if I didn't have that information put out on the internet, I would have sat here and had my prediction be a firm no. We have no idea what's going on with the Initiative. But since we're starting to hear rumors of it, it got this galaxy brain idea in my head of, what would be a perfect way to open this show? It's kind of what I talked about with hardware. I think Xbox's mission statement for this showcase should be, let's address insecurities. So go after hardware and go after games that have been gone for a while, like you kind of did last year, and let us know what's happening with them. I think now it's extremely important to do that. So grab games like Perfect Dark, grab games like, we'll skip ahead a little bit, State of Decay 3. Show them off, show what they've been up to. I think they should be ready for a reveal at this point in time. And I don't know about Perfect Dark per se, but at least State of Decay 3, I'm hoping would be a 2025 title. But nonetheless, I am predicting that Perfect Dark will open the show. Why do I say that? Because I think that would be, for the people who are not tapped into leaks and rumors, the biggest wow moment. Oh my God, the game that we heard so many horrible things about is here. And if it looks good, oh, it's going to shut a lot of people up. And that's why I think they opened with Fable last year, because all these rumors surrounding the game were engulfing it, and it showed out so well that people thought it was a CG trailer when it was actually gameplay. Games like State of Decay 3 also fall in that same bucket as Perfect Dark. Oh, this thing is, apparently studio troubles. Oh, it's looking horrible. Show up, show out, and really deliver something here that will impress people and make them forget about all the negative reports surrounding the game. I think they're very capable of that. So I think Perfect Dark opens the show, and State of Decay 3 probably follows it straight up. All right, Bethesda Game Studios, my favorites. All right, Starfield is guaranteed. We already know we're going to get a look at the DLC during the Summer Games Showcase, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm very curious what's going to happen with Shattered Space, and if they're going to stick to their September announcement date with more and more games presumably being announced there. Maybe they delayed or moved their date, something along those lines. But we also have Fallout, the big elephant in the room. I feel very confident it's happening. I do. I think the stars have aligned. The situation is very clear. And while part of me is very upset that this should have been started earlier, I'm getting the inkling, we'll say, that maybe it'll be a little bit further down the line. Same potentially with Oblivion Remake. You look at the FTC document, and pretty much everything that's there had a 2-year gap, right? So whatever was slated for 2020 was actually coming out in 2022, and so on. And so when you look at certain things like Fallout Remaster coming in 2024, many people thought that aligned to maybe dropping next year. I think this is a game that maybe is actually coming in 2026. And I'm just trying to be realistic with my predictions here. I want it more than anybody on the internet. I saw one of the comments said, like, Matty will be in a straitjacket if it doesn't happen. And that's a fair assessment. Like, it is. It's just, yeah, like, I'm obsessed, man. I want more Fallout. We all do. But I think we have to pull ourselves a little bit out of the situation, take an honest look and say, hey, the Fallout TV show just came out in April. There's no way they can just whip up something real quick unless they want to do a balls to the wall JPEG level announcement of, hey, we're doing New Vegas too. If Xbox wants to hit a home run among home runs, if they just want to fuck around and find out and be like, hey, let's just like put out the biggest announcement of the summer, they can do that. They could do that if they iron out that deal. I wouldn't hate a pre-announcement of a new Fallout project into the future. I think this would be a pretty good time to do so. You know, the interest in the IP is at an all-time high, and you kind of put yourself in I would say Elden Ring situation where you reveal and you go away for a while. And I know a lot of people say that's like the bane of Xbox's existence, and I totally get it with games like I just talked about Perfect Dark and State of Decay 3. Like, where is this game? Where is this game? And you build that up and you build that up. I get all of that. But I think for Xbox, they could have themselves a situation similar to Cyberpunk, similar to Elden Ring, where the disappearance benefits them greatly because it's so highly desired, New Vegas 2. So am I thinking it's going to happen this year? Probably not. I think maybe they're steering away from announcements that aren't going to materialize for like half a decade. But at the same time, I also think games like Fallout 3 Remaster, give it a year. Next year, I'll be there saying a blind squirrel finds a nut, and hey, you know, it's going to happen this year. But for real, I'm saying this year, I don't think we get the Fallout 3 Remaster. I think maybe Oblivion Remake, though. I think Oblivion Remake is going to serve sort of as the template. You're going to look at that and go, okay, I get it. This is what a remaster or remake or whatever it ends up being from Bethesda Game Studios looks like. And then you'll get Fallout 3 the following year. And then maybe they'll continue the trend with other games. Maybe Morrowind gets that look, which would be amazing if you ask me. But yeah, this is a little more of a complicated one for me because I'm going against my heart and using my brain here, but I don't think Fallout will be here. Starfield will definitely be here, and maybe Oblivion. Next up is the Coalition, Gears of War. This one's been rumored for a while. I think Gears 6 is pretty much a lock-in. I wouldn't say it's fully obvious, but I think the less obvious one is a Gears Remaster Collection. I don't know if it's going to be Gears 1 through 3 or the entire series of Gears 1 through 5 alongside things like Judgment. I think that would be phenomenal. And I think Gears of War, when you really look at it as a series during the Xbox 360 generation, deserves its own Master Chief Collection, and it has for a while. I fully believe that rumors just made this thing materialize because I'm sure Xbox wasn't thinking about it, but so many people said, this makes sense, please do it. And when you look at Gears 6 coming up the pipe, it probably needs a nice recap, a nice place for people to go, just like with Halo Infinite. Like, hey, you didn't like Infinite or you didn't like 5, no problem. Go on over to Master Chief Collection. We got the whole original trilogy there for you. And same thing here with Gears. I think it just needs that same treatment of, hey, you don't like where we're going in this new direction? We have this old thing for you and it'll forever be there. And all of your favorites have been remastered because it's just in a weird spot. You have Gears of 1 Ultimate Edition and then Gears 2 and 3 are back compat. Like, it just, the situation clearly begs for putting the rest of these into a collection, remastering them. Gears 4 and 5 still look great and back compat, so I don't think you need to do much to those, but really touching up Gears 2 and 3 should be the focus here. Gears 1 Ultimate Edition, I just played it recently, looks great. So I think Gears will be here in a massive way, and I would say that Gears 6 would be a pretty good show closer in my opinion. Obsidian Entertainment, we already talked a bit about Avowed. I'm going to turn my attention to the Outer Worlds 2 and say, don't write this one off. I think Outer Worlds 2 has a pretty good chance of showing up. This thing started pre-production right after the Outer Worlds 1. Like, it was that much of a success immediately. And while I know a lot of time and attention has been spent on Avowed, a lot of that time was spent retooling what the game was, right? Originally, Avowed, as confirmed by Obsidian, was supposed to be this multiplayer game. Meanwhile, it sounds like the Outer Worlds 2 has just been kind of full steam ahead, where I could see Obsidian having a double feature here, and of course confirming, hey, we have Avowed coming up soon, while also saying the Outer Worlds is next year. This could be another game that, as I'll get into in a little bit with who may be skipping, I could rationalize why, because I could see it being a spot in, say, the developer direct. But nonetheless, I think Obsidian has a strong possibility of being a double feature here. That's the beauty of right now where Xbox's first party is at. Again, I know there's a lot of negative energy surrounding the business side of Xbox, but when you look at the games that are in the pipeline, they can have just major announcement after major announcement, truly. Double Fine's up next. They had a project they were working on during Psychonauts 2 that they had to stop. I feel like they've been due for an announcement for, I thought they were going to be at the showcase last year. So I'm going to predict them again because I feel like if you stopped a project that was mid-development to go finish Psychonauts 2, you finish that up. Psychonauts 2 was 2021. Feels like a good time to announce what Double Fine has been up to. So I'm going to go ahead and mark them on the list. Whatever it may be, I have no idea. But I think it's due. I think it's time to see what Double Fine is doing next after Psychonauts 2. I wish it was Psychonauts 3, but we've already heard it's not going to be that. But man, Psychonauts 2 really swept me off my feet. What a phenomenal game if you haven't played it yet. ZeniMax Online is up next. We know they are working on the Elder Scrolls Online. They just released Golden Road. This is the 10-year anniversary for Elder Scrolls Online. It's probably a good time to set up an announcement that's very reflective, like, hey, we've been doing the same thing for 10 years, and it's time to do something new. So I think it's time to unveil this new IP. We know almost 300 people have been working on this for 4 years, so they've been cooking over at ZeniMax Online for a while. And it's a really interesting time for the MMO market. It's a very saturated market, but then you just really have a couple of pillars out there. You have Elder Scrolls Online, you have Final Fantasy 14. And so I think to have someone who's already got a pretty strong foothold in the MMO community step in and be like, here's a new thing, and by the way, not being Amazon, would be a pretty strong move. I think this is another announcement that's been overdue. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that ZeniMax Online may make an appearance here and have their new IP to show off. Now it's for who's skipping. Why are they skipping? I'm thinking of Developer Direct, and I'm thinking of 2025 targets for said Direct. We've already seen 2 years in a row now, Xbox opens up the year with a Developer Direct, and they sort of set the stage for what to expect throughout the rest of the calendar year. So I'm thinking they're gonna go ahead and do that again next year. So certain games that don't show up here, I think will be at next year's Developer Direct. These are games like South of Midnight, Fable, Clockwork Revolution, and Blade. Blade in particular, though, I don't think will be at the Developer Direct. I should clarify that. Blade, I think, is a game that's going to be gone for a while. They already said on the Game Awards stage last year, let us cook. So we hear you, Dingabakaba, you guys go cook. But these other three in South of Midnight, Fable, and Clockwork Revolution, I think are pretty clear targets for a 2025 Developer Direct. So I don't think they will be making an appearance at the show. And I think it'll set up something like Fable being the big holiday target, because that's feeling like the next big game for Xbox, where they show it off at the Developer Direct and then maybe make a dedicated Direct to that game to cap off next year's summer showcase. We also have Activision Blizzard in the family. Yes, I know, this is how big this video is getting, because we are just only getting into Activision Blizzard. We have Black Ops 6 being shown off at the Developer Direct this year. I'm kind of excited for this one because I don't know, I really like when Call of Duty has a strong campaign. Last year certainly wasn't the case, but something like Black Ops Cold War really swept me off my feet. Other Modern Warfare games also swept me off my feet. We're hearing rumors that there's going to be old remastered Black Ops maps. For me, my favorite Call of Duty series is Black Ops. So I'm really a sucker for the Black Ops series. We're hearing rumors of it being partially open world, and I think of Halo Infinite. So I'm very excited to see what they show off with Black Ops 6. They said they've been testing the game for 2 years now, which is pretty remarkable. I mean, that's number one, really rare, I think, in game development. It's being playable for 2 years is different from being tested for 2 years. So what they've had for Black Ops 6, it sounds like they've been kind of sitting on for a while, and that's longer than the entire development cycle for Modern Warfare 3. So I feel like it's okay to have high hopes for this one, and so my expectations are set above general Call of Duty expectations would typically be. Toys for Bob just announced their new partnership with Xbox. Some people were wondering if they would be at the summer showcase. They already said on their Twitter account that they're not going to be around for a while and they're going to work quietly on things. With the purple coloring of everything, I imagine they're working on another Spyro game, and so that's going to be really cool to see when they show back up. Elsewhere Entertainment was announced earlier this year, this brand new Activision Blizzard studio, and I could sort of see a pre-announcement of what they're working on to go ahead and hire other talent. Otherwise, I think another obvious show up for Activision Blizzard is going to be the expansion for Diablo 4. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a company that'll make a lot of noise with Call of Duty mostly, and potentially its back compat library. Anything else would be a surprise in my book. There are projects that are kind of rumored right now, like an Infinity Ward RPG. I would love to lay eyes on that one, so hopefully that shows up as well. Lastly, there's Xbox Game Studios, kind of their third-party partnerships with particular studios. One I want to focus on here is Certain Affinity. We heard years ago that they were working on a project called Suerte, which is a Monster Hunter style game. No idea where that is, but that was apparently being made alongside Xbox. Second is Halo. We know that there was a Battle Royale mode for Halo Infinite in the works that's been canned and retooled. And so I'm curious if they're going to continue working on Halo in any way, like maybe a Halo spinoff. I don't think 343 Industries makes an appearance here, but I actually think Certain Affinity has a stronger chance of showing up with something Halo related. I think 343 is going to go away for a long while until they're ready to show off their next big thing, but I wouldn't be too surprised if a Halo spinoff showed up at this point in time. I think when you look at it from the Fallout point of view, which much of my channel can relate to, there was a lot of demands like, please more Fallout, hand the Fallout IP to someone else. But you have to remember, this has been happening with Halo for a while now, like since really 2021 it hit its peak of like, please hand this out to other developers. So I feel like there's been a lot of time for that to happen. We already know it did happen with the Battle Royale mode, but now that it's been retooled, potentially we do get a Halo announcement at this showcase, and that would be the perfect time to do so. You're gonna have a lot of extra eyes here on it because of the Call of Duty Developer Direct. And so I feel like if you have Gears, Halo, and COD in the same showcase, I mean, that's some shooter box energy, and I'm all about it. Last company I want to talk about, Avalanche. They announced Contraband in 2020. Is it finally time? This game has apparently been in trouble for a while. It was supposed to come out a while ago. So does it show up here? I mean, here's hoping. I would say, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, it feels like it's time. It feels like it's due. And if it doesn't show up here, maybe that's a good developer direct game to kind of re-reveal then. I don't know. Maybe, but it's just something feels wrong about this game right now. So the original rumor was it was gonna kind of be a heist game with just vehicles, but then you just gotta get this thing out before GTA 6 is all I'm saying, because once that shows up, I mean, we already know the heist love in GTA 5 and how undoubtedly Rockstar is gonna carry that forward in GTA 6. So we'll see, but I think Contraband needs to go sooner rather than later. So I think it may have its hand forced. We'll see, but ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Xbox Showcase 2024 predictions. What are you hoping to see this year? Let me know down below. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.